Hello there everyone and welcome to a new review on the channel, and today we're going to be looking at something brand new and something that you've probably never heard of, and that is Notes by Akash or Ashraf Rai. I'm sorry that I butchered your name, but it's a new effect that will let you peek any information that is written on the actual spectator's notes. So now that I've given you a bit of a hint of what it is, let's roll the intro and dive straight into it. Perfect. So you decide to stick around, which means you want to learn more about Notes. So what is Notes? Notes is essentially an effect where you will be able to tap into your spectator's Notes app and almost in real time be able to read what they are writing in that app, whether it's a name, a country, colors, whether it's multiple spectators write. You can even have 3 spectators write in the note. You'll be able to read all of their minds. You can do whatever you want. That's essentially the effect. You'll be able to tap into someone's actual phone and notes and get a read on what they are writing. So now that we've said that, I do want to get a bit on that before we continue the review in a second, but I do want to mention where you buy this, how much does it cost, and what do you get. So you can buy this directly from the creator himself on his Gumroad page. It will set you back £19, which is around 35 Canadian, around 25, maybe 30 USD or euros. I will leave the link down below of where to get this, and I'll actually give you a discount code if you do want to purchase this because I was provided one, so feel free to use it. And what you get with your purchase is going to be a license key that will allow you to perform the effect, as well as your PDF instructions. The instructions are very good. There's images of everything that you need to do because there is an initial setup for this. You will have to take maybe 5 minutes just to set it up, and you will need another iPhone in order to perform it. Because I'm going to say this from the front, you do need an iPhone to perform it, and the spectator that you perform it to needs an iPhone. So this cannot be done from you having an Android, them having an iPhone, or from you having an iPhone, them having an Android. You do need an iPhone, and the other spectator needs an iPhone. So it's only doable from iPhone to iPhone, so do keep that in mind. But everything is well explained. They're going to teach you how to set it up, how to make it work, how to, after you set it up, how to port it to this. I don't think this gives away a lot of the method, but it is something that maybe some people may know, how to port it to an NFC tag to make everything much smoother when you're actually doing it in live performances and much faster. So everything is super well explained, everything is detailed, the explanations are quick, but what I really do like about the explanation is that they are thorough, because I like when creators are self-aware of their product. They know the things that may be faulty, and I'm not saying that anything is faulty, but they know some of the things that may be a detriment in some instance. For example, the read that you're going to be getting is not a direct read. It's not going to be a read that you get, like, for example, something like inject, where it's like 1 or 2 seconds you get the read. This is something where you're maybe going to get the read between 5 to 25 seconds. That's your delay. And he's aware of that. So he tells you, how do you fill that space? Because you don't want to have them write something and be like, okay, you're thinking of, he teaches you how to fill that space. He doesn't just tell you, wait. He tells you do this, or use this principle, or use this ruse, or do this and that. So I love when creators are actually aware of some of the things in their product that could be a fault, and they make it as a highlight and they tell you how to fill that time. And I actually really love one of the ideas that he tells you, which is make it real. Like, they wrote something and you have no clue what it is. So if you are actually trying to mind read or read their body language or read their thoughts, try it for real for 5 to 20 seconds. Just give it a shot, and that's going to make it more believable. If I'm like, think of what you wrote. Think if it's a physical or non-physical object. Fantastic. But don't say it out loud. I want you now to think of the first letter. Just think of it for me. Imagine drawing it. Okay. Excellent. Is there anything that you could associate with this object, like a country or another object or something like that? Does that make sense? okay, just think of that new object. I think that's going to help me. And then by the point that I did this, I have my read and I'm good to go. So it just makes it more real. You're actually trying to do it for real. And maybe if you're really good at it, you can actually throw statements out there. So if you've been in mentalism for a bit, and you've studied Peter Turner's work or Louis Laval's work or Brad Henderson's work, stuff that you could say that will get a hit, and you have no clue what they've written and you're still getting hits. So it just makes everything more real. So that is to say that the PDF also goes through some of the hiccups that could happen or anything like that, and they tell you how to fix it, how to dispel it, and how to get over it. So it's a really thorough explanation. So now that you understand that, before we jump into difficulty, practicality, etc., I do want to just talk about the peak itself, how it's achieved without saying too much, because I don't want to spoil the method, but there's a few things that I do want to raise. Because at the last kind of magic meetup here in Montreal, we had a lecture, and one of the topics that came up is how far would you go to actually digitally get a peek from something someone has done on their phone? And that was actually the topic of conversation, which was before I actually got this product and got to review it. So it was interesting to see that this product was actually something that would have been interesting to discuss during that meeting, because this product, as I said, and as the ad page says, it doesn't use shortcuts, it doesn't use a web page, it doesn't use a secret URL, a link to a website, it doesn't download anything on the spectator's phone. You are literally accessing a spectator's phone. Like, you are gaining possession of one of their notes in their phone. So ethically, maybe for some people they won't feel comfortable doing that. Maybe you won't feel comfortable doing it. I won't tell you how it works or the intricacies of it, but some people may not feel comfortable. And to me, I don't think it's much of an issue as long as you do the cleanup. The cleanup can be done directly on the spectator's phone. So, you could write your prediction on a piece of paper, put it on the table and say, I'm not sure if I got it. I'm not sure. Can you just show us what you wrote? And they're going to show, let's say it's elephant. You show it, you say, okay. So you could have written anything. You decide to write elephant. I'll delete that. We don't need it from, anymore. Take a look at what I wrote. I think I got close, and boom, you reveal it. So, just by doing that, which is kind of a normal thing, you say, elephant, did everyone see? Look, we'll even erase it. We don't need this anymore. You can take back your phone. You've cleaned all the evidence and there's nothing else going on. You can also do it from your phone. You can delete the evidence from your phone after the performance, but the spectator is still going to have something left on their phone. They're still going to have maybe a small thing that they're going to be like, oh, that's interesting. But except for that, it can be cleaned up. So if you feel wrong tapping into someone's phone, which was something that I never really thought about, but it was raised during that magic meeting, this effect may be ethically or morally not be pleasing to you. But it can be cleaned up. So it's not like you're getting access to their banking information and their entire phone. You're just for a small moment of time, as long as you do the cleanup, getting access to their notes app, okay? So that's what I wanted to say. And additionally, as I said, you also need to know that you're going to get your peak on either your phone or your Apple Watch. So you do have to consider that as well. So that's all that I wanted to say regarding that. I don't want to give away the method, but I just wanted to, because it was interesting, the conversation that we had a week before actually me reviewing this. So I just wanted to point it out because for some people it may be important. But having said that, let's get into the practicality of this. So what is the practicality of this effect? It is very practical. All you need is your iPhone, a spectator's iPhone. You do need an internet connection, which most people have nowadays. If you're doing it in your home country and city and most of your events are there, you will have internet and the spectator will too. And your tag to make everything easier. So in terms of packing small, it does pack very small because you'll have your phone with you anyway. The spectator will have their phone with them anyway. And your tag, you can just put it in your wallet. So pretty much you're packing nothing to do this effect, which is very nice. Now let's talk about difficulty. So difficulty also is very easy. In order to perform the effect, difficulty-wise, you just take spectator's phone and say, look, I'm going to have you in a second. Can I just go into your notes? Where are they here? I'm going to have you write something here in your notes. I don't want you to show it to anyone. Keep it safe and then close the phone. And that's it. That's the entire difficulty. And then you get your peak. If it's on your phone, get your peak. I wouldn't open my phone. So if I'm doing this walk around, I just do it with an Apple Watch. If not, I'll just have my phone underneath the table, or I would have the phone in something that I'm going to review right after this, which is the Sketchpad by Michael Dawson. But overall, difficulty wise, super simple. You just need the spectator to open their phone, say, look, where's the notes app? Oh, it's here. Write something on the notes and you're good. So difficulty wise, it's easy. And then in terms of the rest of the things that you do want to learn, angle wise, the angles are pretty good of the effect. The only angle issues are when you get the peak and when you touch the spectator's phone. Except for that, it is 360. In terms of reset, the reset is instant. As I said, you could do it with 3 spectators at a time. You can even have a spectator open back their phone, delete the thing from their notes, pass their phone to someone else. That person writes something, then you do it with them, then they delete it and you pass it to another. So you can do it literally to the whole audience with the same phone. They're just passing it around and you'll be able to do it. It's instant reset. Or you can even do it, if you want, to every single person in your audience with their phone. As long as they have an iPhone, you'll be able to do it to all of them. So the reset is basically instant. In terms of repeatability, it can be repeated. It doesn't need a table to perform, but I do want to say, repeatability and reset, I would delete the evidence from the spectator's phone. That's the only thing I would do, is I just would delete it. That's pretty much it, okay? So now, where would you perform this effect? Anywhere you want. As long as you want to get a peek at some information, you can do this wherever you want, as long as you have the conditions that I've mentioned, which are the tag, 2 iPhones, and internet connection, okay? So now that we've dissected all of that, what are the positives and negatives of this effect? First of all, let's start out with the negatives. One of the negatives of the effect is that some people may not feel comfortable with the method at hand. I understand that. I can see why. Personally, it's not negative for me, but because of the conversation I've had this week, I know that it could be a negative for others. So do keep that in mind. Another negative is that there is a small delay in the information. If you don't want to fill in the dead time and you want to reveal something quickly and you don't want to put theatrics, well, with this, you don't have a choice because you will have to put a bit of time before getting your peak. And lastly is the deleting of the information. Personally, when I did this and I would do it to some other people, I would want to delete the information myself from the spectator's phone, but it is possible that you forget. So if you forget, just don't forget to do it from your own phone, because the only issue is that I don't want to do this effect and then a spectator uses the note and I get to see some private information that I shouldn't want to see, okay? So that's the only thing, is make sure to delete that note. But having said that, what are the positives? One, the price is very fair. For something, for a peak, a lot of peak, utility tools and websites nowadays, they cost upwards of 50 USD, some even over 100 USD to get a simple peak from a spectator's phone. But this one doesn't use all those, web addresses, special links, fake YouTube pages, fake Google domains, fake web pages, etc. It just uses the spectator's genuine notes. And this could have sold for much more, but I think the price is very fair for what it is. So the price is good, it's easy to do, it can be performed, if you meet the conditions, it can be performed in any type of setting. It's, practical as well. So that's all I have to say about notes. So would I recommend notes and what do I give it out of 10? Would I recommend notes? My answer is, if you like peaks and you're interested in a very high-tech peak that costs very little and that is done on a borrowed phone on the genuine Apple Notes app, then I don't think you can go wrong with this effect. So having said that, I'm giving it a 7.75 on 10. I think it's good. I do think that it has some things that you need to consider. Is it going to be my go-to peak moving forward? Probably not. But is it still one that I may use here and there if I want to fool some people hard that know about some technology? Yes. So overall, I do think it's very good. I do think it's very fun. And I would recommend it to you, especially for the price. And with a discount, it's even cheaper. So that's all I have to say about notes. And if you have any additional questions, as always, leave them down below. If not, I'll see you all in my next review. Have a good one, and bye-bye.